A human lifetime is 80 years long on average. A person imagines and organizes his life with that span in mind. What I have just said everyone knows, but only rarely do we realize that the number of years granted us is not merely a quantitative fact, an external feature like nose length or eye color, but is part of the very definition of the human. A person who might live with all his faculties twice as long, say 160 years, would not belong to our species. Nothing about his life would be like ours. Not love or ambitions or feelings or nostalgia, nothing. If after 20 years abroad an emigre were to come back to his native land with another 100 years of life ahead of him, he would have little sense of a great return. For him it would probably not be a return at all, just one of many byways in the long journey of his life. For the very notion of homeland, with all its emotional power, is bound up with the relative brevity of our life, which allows us too little time to become attached to some other country, to other countries, to other languages. Sexual relations can take up the whole of adult life, but if that life were a lot longer, might not staleness stifle the capacity for arousal well before one's physical powers declined? For there is an enormous difference between the first and the 10th, and the 100th, the 1000th, or the 10,000th coitus. Where lies the boundary line beyond which repetition becomes stereotyped, if not comical or even impossible? And once that boundary is crossed, what would become of the erotic relationship between a man and a woman? Would it vanish? Or, on the contrary, would lovers consider the sexual phase of their lives to be the barbaric prehistory of real love? Answering these questions is as easy as imagining the psychology of the inhabitants of an unknown planet. The notion of love, of great love, of one and only love, itself also derives probably from the narrow bounds of the time we are granted. If that time were boundless, would Joseph be so attached to his deceased wife? We who must die so soon, we just don't know.